We found a big wolf, a dire wolf, in the ice. It's nice, we brought him back to life, I guess. We'll try to breed him, I bet. We're bringing back dire wolves. I think it's pretty cool. Now that dire wolves are back, I think we're all pretty screwed. We're not sure what he eats, but we have a lot of scientists. And I know they have a lot of meat. They don't like it when I suggest this. We are bringing back dire wolves. I think it's pretty cool. Now that dire wolves are back, I think we're pretty screwed. We're not sure what he eats, but we have a lot of scientists. And I know they have a lot of meat. They don't like it when I suggest this. We are bringing back dire wolves. I think it's pretty cool. Now that dire wolves are back, I think we're all pretty screwed. We found a big wolf, a dire wolf, in the ice. It's nice.
So guys, if microphones on a mission to spread light, I think the whole world would agree. The system is down. 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 But they're doing their best to bring humor and light into this dark world. But the system is down. The system is down. The system is down. The system is down. Ben and Dave are trying their best, but the world keeps throwing its mess. But they laugh and carry on. The system is down. 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 But Dan and Dave are trying their best, but the world keeps throwing its mess. But they laugh and carry on. The system is down. 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 Dan and Dave are trying their best, but the world keeps throwing its mess. But they laugh and carry on. The system is down. The system is down. The system is down. The system is down. Dan and Dave are trying their best, but the world keeps throwing its mess. But they laugh and carry on. The system is down. Dog trying to grab the arm. The system is down. The system is down.
This is a Dissident Media production. DissidentMedia.net.
In a world where everything sucks, two men have the balls to laugh at it. This is The System is Down.
We are back, but more importantly, they're bringing back the dire wolves, and we are in dire straits for the survival of our species. There's lots going on, but you know how it works. We're back. Go share it.
It's a big club, and you ain't in it.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys, girls, and whatever you think you are in between, Welcome back to the show. This show is brought to you almost entirely and only by you guys. People in the Downers Club like William Ogle, Sir Turn, Nathan Gall, Keno, Gilda, Kate, John Winshire, Bob C. for Drugs for Robots, Autumn Pangea, No Something, Trash, Maxwell, Kim, Yippee, Zanger, Just Eco, Silas, Denise, Joey, Perry, Donald, Osmataz, Danielle, Stoney, Keith, Heffalumps, Level Zero, Stefan, Hartman, Craig, Tim, Nathan, Brian, bunch of other people. If you want to get your name on that list and have it read incorrectly someday, go on over to patreon.com/The System Is Down, where you'll get more weird, more raw, more offensive, not only your name on a fancy extra list in addition to your government lists, but you'll also get bonus content, including the after parties that we have been doing regularly as of late, believe it or not. So go there. The plan is to keep that trend going today. So if you want to hear us talk about the Libertarian Party and their latest fancy propaganda, go on over to patreon.com/The System Is Down. And as always, I can't do this without you, and I definitely can't do it without my wingman, the one and only Mr. David Casey. Dave, you confetti ready, Dave?
Bro, ready like I got a machete for some confetti? Yes. Let's fucking
Mom's
do
confetti? There's vomit on his confetti already? Or something like that? I think that was a Vivek Ramaswamy song once. All right.
That's who said that.
That's right. Dave, how is it going? How are things in your life, in your world? Anything you feel like sharing out there in the world, or just hunkering down and waiting until this all blows over?
Oh, what's blowing over, dude? No, like I told you yesterday on the phone, dude. I'll share this. Life's been great lately. So, totally white-pilled. Ready for you to fuck that up.
I was going to say, Dave always comes in with the white pill at the beginning, like, oh, yeah, everything's fine because I haven't looked at the news. And by the end of it, he's cocking the gun and spinning it on the table as we're rolling the credits. But, yeah.
Just getting past last week. I had a lot to think about after that. That's great, though. Thank you.
You know, life do be that way sometimes. But we're not going to spend all of it talking about that. There is some entertainment news that I want to open with before we dig back into the dirty world of scummy politics. But let me switch over here. Today is a very special day, Dave. Do you have any idea why?
Hitler's birthday is not for a couple of weeks. No, I don't know, man. What is it?
It is actually the birthday of Gerard Way, the vocalist of My Chemical Romance. I know you're a big fan, and I wanted to let you know that it is his birthday. I actually wouldn't have brought this up. I'm not just bringing it up because I'm gay for the man. I am bringing it up because I just realized today that Gerard Way is 48 years old and still doing that. So it was not a phase. We can definitely confirm that it was not a phase. And also, Gerard Way moisturizes like a motherfucker, because I assumed that guy was around my age my entire life. And today I found out he's 11 years older than me. So good on him. And it is his 48th birthday. And yeah, thought it worth a share. I know you probably have very little to say to that, but it also in honor of his birthday, I will say that I am playing the emo and chill show for my band, The New Classics, at a local little pub called Ferg's. We are bringing it back, where we do all the used, Fall Out Boy, My Chemical Romance, all the gay shit that I like and shamelessly like. But yeah, be there June 28th if you are in the area, and come hang out and do stuff. Yeah,
that's really exciting, dude. I wish I could be there for that. You know where I could be, though, or where I was on tour with My Chemical Romance for 3 weeks on Project Revolution.
Let's see if I have those Dave songs in here, so I can bring those back every time you...
That's right.
You haven't muted yourself in enough time.
Nope. I outgrew that.
I know, Dave. I know. You had a better life than I did. I get it.
No, just I'd like to put the emo stuff out there because I Warped Toured it up.
Well, sure, you played the shows, Dave. You played all those great shows. Well, I'm playing the shows now, motherfucker.
Not me, the great,
I'm playing
the
the shows
Medina
now.
Lake. I was always a tech on the bigger shows. My band never got to play shows like that, but
Sure.
shout out to Medina Lake for.
So you're just one of those guys that carries the guitars around, and then you're like, I was on tour with My Chemical Romance once. Yeah.
Bro, that's exactly what I did. Though, bro, no bullshit. I manned the confetti. I was fucking confetti ready then. We were shooting confetti cannons.
Confetti ready since the beginning.
Bro,
OG confetti ready, Dave.
Emo confetti ready, bro.
All right. Otherwhere in entertainment news, we've talked about Snow White as much as everybody else. Well, not as much as everybody else has, but way more than it deserves to be given credit for. But I did want to give an update on it. I've got 2 updates. We're not going to spend a bunch of time on it because who gives a fuck? It's out. It sucks. apparently. Still haven't seen it. But, yeah, this I thought was worth a share because it seems in an ironic twist of fate that the midgets are angry.
And there's another controversy. In the movie, the 7 dwarfs were created with CGI effects.
Little people got big dreams, you know?
These actors say they should have been real.
It's very disappointing that Snow White chose to not include us, especially when they're trying to say that this movie is supposed to be woke and different. It's almost like you're saying to be a little person is bad, so that's why we had to make them our cartoon. It could have created more opportunities for other people.
You know, it's kind of beautiful because like the whole woke aspect of this, like it went entirely both ways on the same topic. Because at the beginning of this, if you remember, the very first controversy was Peter Dinklage saying that including the dwarves in Snow White as people is discriminatory to little people. And now we, like 3 years later, have little people outraged, and they're like, well, leaving dwarves out of it is discriminatory to little people. So it's nice to watch Disney try to have their cake and eat it too, and in the end they got neither the cake nor the have, or however that works. But they also lost a substantial amount. The film had a over $270 million budget, and it has just now crossed the $160 million global rake in, which is not a small amount. 11 million, or what is that? $111 million, something like that. I don't know math. I'm not a math autist, but yes, $110 million plus, and that also doesn't include like the budget for marketing and any of the extra stuff. That was probably several $1 million more. But they have lost substantially on this for many, many reasons that we've gone over. Not the least of which being that they tried to take something, once again, that people love from nostalgia and use the nostalgia bait to get people to come see their thing, and in doing so, they instead trashed the entire source material that they were using, the beloved source material, and this is the outcome. So, good. I kind of want to go and hate watch it. My kids tried getting me to go, and I'm like, I don't want to give them my money. I will hate watch it once it's piratable, and we can hate watch it together. But, yeah.
You know, this is blowback because Walt Disney fucked over the girl who did the voice for Snow White in like 1941 or whatever.
Oh, yeah?
Bad. Like she was a young actress and she came in. I think they paid her like nothing, a couple $100 maybe for that role. And they didn't credit her.
Oh, wow.
So like first didn't credit her. And then Walt Disney, the prick, went to like all the other studio heads and was like, don't hire this woman, because he wanted that voice to be his Snow White.
Wow.
And that
Dave coming in with the Snapple facts on Disney's Snow White.
Bro. So they're dealing with what the CIA calls blowback for their early, misdeeds. So fuck Disney.
I gotta say, Dave, while that does sound bad and not nice to a 12-year-old from 80 years ago, I don't think that has as much to do with the backlash on this movie as the current trillions of controversies that the movie has created.
But they're paying for it, and that's it's important.
Karma,
they're paying for it,
I suppose. It could be
like
karma for that, yes. Finally, the teens and tweens are rising up and saying, you remember what you did before I was even a concept? I am outraged by that, and they're deciding to stay home. That's probably it. Also, more blowback because as a result of this, Disney has announced that they will be canceling their live-action remake of Tangled, which definitely doesn't need it. I still haven't seen the original, which came out, less than 10 years ago. Can we stop remaking things that came out less than 10 years ago? Like, if a child saw the movie in the theater, maybe we don't need to remake it before the child is outside of the age where they would go to see it in the theater again. Like, within one child's childhood, they get to see the cartoon and then the remake at this point of things, which I think might be a little bit hasty. But
well, the character, I've never seen Tangled, but that character was blonde, which means like you have to hire a white girl, which they can't do, obviously.
Well, they didn't hire a white girl for Snow White, Dave. So clearly they don't have to hire a white girl.
Mm-mm.
Yep.
No,
Well-
they're like not allowed to hire or refuse to. One or the other. You just won't. Can't do that at the expense of $110 million. I'd rather rather burn $100 million
for the cause, for the greater good, Dave, for the greater good of losing $110 million. But speaking of losing significantly in the entertainment world lately, here somebody else had some major losses this week. Report: former First Lady Michelle Obama's new podcast continues to tank with viewership down over 75% compared to her first episode on YouTube. Obama's viewership has been dropping since first releasing her show on March 12th. March 12th. That was not that long ago. Episode 1 had 335,000 views, and now we're on to episode 6 with 63,000 views. So it is dropping like a fly. And did you even know that Michelle Obama had a podcast, Dave?
I did know that. Yes.
Oh, I don't think I did. But even if I had, I don't think it would have changed anything. Yeah.
Terrible.
Do you think it? What do you suspect is the reason for the numbers dropping? As somebody who's seen a few clips, do you think it's because of the quality? Do you think it's because the content that they're getting into, or what?
Bro, I hope everybody understands what I mean when I say this, but everything is USAID. Everything. All this shit is just blown the fuck up with other people's money and other people's, like, once they have to like operate.
Not our show. We'll take it though if you guys want.
Yeah, right. Please send USAID. But no, that's why, because nobody really cares about what her opinion is, and that's
nice
what
of you,
it
Dave.
really boils down to. Oh yeah, that's my opinion that like most people don't share, is that I believe that Michelle Obama is a biological woman.
It's brave of you, Dave. Now,
I'm not scared to say it.
As somebody with those strongly held beliefs, that actually brings me to my next point, because I haven't seen anybody else talk about what I'm going to bring up. They're just sharing this video clip and not even mentioning anything about it other than her numbers are tanking. But let me know if anything about this clip stands out to you, Dave.
Hey, TikTok, it's Michelle Obama, and I'm here with my big brother, Craig.
Hey, everybody.
We're here because we're excited to announce the launch of our new podcast called IMO with Michelle Obama and Craig Robinson.
And we just posted the trailer if you want to check it out.
Check it out. Thanks, you guys. See you soon.
What the fuck is going on, Dave? Did you know about Craig? Did you know about Craig?
Oh, they busted him out over the course of the elections. Yeah.
I did not know that there was some other human that looks exactly like Michelle Obama without the wig on, that looks like the spitting image of Big Mike, that looks like the inverse of Michelle Obama, looks like born a man trying to transition to a woman, as opposed to, or no, born a woman trying to transition to a man, as opposed to Michelle Obama's born a man trying to transition to a woman. I did not know about Craig. That might be on me. He might be a very well-known celebrity out there in the world, but it does kind of make me think maybe all those pictures of young Barack Obama standing with a guy that looks exactly like Michelle Obama but is a man, maybe he was just hanging out with big brother Craig. Like, I don't know, the gender fluidity of this family is very confusing to me, because they look like carbon copies of each other. Just you took the wig off of one and put it on the other. And I'm the Matrix is broken, Dave. We're cloning Obamas now. And now we've got Craig.
He said
Mike's
Sean
brother, Craig.
Sean in the chat said bigger Mike.
Bigger and bigger
one,
Mikes are, yes, we're just respawning Mikes around here. I want Craig to get into politics. We can just go out there in a wig and say you're Michelle. He could literally go out, put a wig on and say that he's Michelle Obama and pull it off pretty well if Michelle Obama refuses to run. Man, I don't know. My brain broke a little bit when I was like, Michelle Obama has a podcast. Let's see what all this is about. And I was like, fucking Craig? What? Craig? Seriously? That's Craig. Craig has just as much lipstick on as Michelle Obama does. Just as much, well, not as much eyeshadow, but he's just a few steps down.
It's weird. I tend to believe that, like, everything these people do is like with intent. Like there's a purpose behind all their shit, right? But I can't imagine if they thought that this would be good, or like, are you trying to tell us something with this person behind you? Like, what, it is bizarre.
Yeah.
And even though I think she's a biological woman and he is a biological man, there is some weird, like, she's got masculine traits and he does not. So it's just this weird.
I mean, they both kind of look like linebackers or bull-dyke lesbians, but either way, they look the same, and it makes me even more confused. It does diminish a little bit of my Big Mike theories, because those pictures could have been Craig. Could have been Craig the whole time. Big Craig. Sean Van Beaverhout also says, fake super chat, did you hear Kash Patel is out as the FBI head? News dropped recently. I did not. Did you hear about that, Dave?
I did hear that. They replaced him with Driscoll, who's the Secretary of the Army, which is kind of that's maybe a little concerning from what I hear, though. Like, this guy just immediate buzz. So I don't know much, and this is like grapevine shit, but not the worst. They could definitely.
I mean, that's kind of what we said about Kash Patel too, though. Like, he's not great on everything, but he's a step way up from where we were. Now it's like, well, he's not a Kash Patel, but he could be worse. It's still
well,
like,
no
yeah,
matter
they could
what,
be worse, but
they're still not. They're not dropping those Epstein files yet, which sucks. And I don't want to hear about the Chi-Coms until you drop that shit.
Do we know why Kash Patel is out? Because he just got in there and just put Dan Bongino in there, and we haven't heard about really anything that they've done since then. And
no, Kash Patel is still the head of the FBI, but he's not. He was only the acting director of the ATF.
I see.
But there is some cool like restructuring going on at that level, where the ATF like might do some like good things for guns, like two-way stuff. So I'm not holding my breath, but I think that good things could be on the horizon there.
Yeah, we shall see. Thank you for the fake super chat, and for those of you that aren't familiar, put in all caps fake super chat if you want us to get to your comment, because we are not allowed to take your money, although we would like to. Patreon still doesn't hate us yet, so go join the Downers Club if you want to support. But if you've got something you want us to read, put in all caps fake super chat, and we will do our best to get to it. And if it's a stupid comment, we will make fun of you and potentially block you. But we'll see where the day goes. Now, speaking of entertainment, the fake super chats tried to pull us already into politics out of the entertainment news, so we'll just kind of bridge that gap seamlessly between entertainment and politics by talking about Harry Sisson, because Harry Sisson.
Oh my God, you son of a bitch!
Harry Sisson got his YouTube plaque for his 100,000 YouTube subscriber play button, and the fact that I have to say that out loud brings me much sadness. And let that be at least your first drop of a gray pill, Dave. Does it gray pill you at all that Harry Sisson, 100,000 people out there are listening to what this man has to say and enjoying it enough to subscribe?
Yes, let the black pilling commence. Let's fucking do it. Yes, that is depressing. That does make me want to quit and hang up my microphone, because that's fucking terrible. But again, everything's USAID. You know what I mean? You know what I mean. That's why that guy has that plaque, and it's all fake and it's all bullshit, and fuck him and fuck YouTube.
Sure. Fake super chat from No One At All says, I can't believe it is official that RR is the best president of my lifetime. Ronald Reagan, that would be.
What do you mean that's official?
Oh,
because Trump went up and then he went down, so then he's
not.
It was Reagan.
She might not
then
be
it was
thrilled
Trump for a
with Trump
minute.
lately. Yeah. We're back.
Yeah, that's what that means. Okay.
Yep.
All
right.
Understood.
Now, speaking of people who get way more attention than they deserve and have terrible opinions and should never be listened to, much less given stages to speak on, Dr. Fauci is back. He's back, everyone. Everyone's favorite, the science, is back, and he's got some warnings for everybody about the next possible pandemic. So put your listening ears on and get your, your masks and your wet wipes and get ready.
what is likely to happen, I don't know if it's going to be next year or 10 years or 15 or 20 years from now, is the emergence.
I mean, right off the bat, if it's that big of a range, I don't know if it's next year or like 3 decades after I'm dead, but this is going to happen. Like, okay, well then are you really making even any sort of prediction? If you have no idea when, that means you have no idea what you're talking about, which should not come as any surprise from Dr. Fauci.
Emergence of another respiratory disease. It may be another coronavirus, because we know that coronaviruses really, mostly in bats, have the capability of binding to receptors that are in humans. It could be another flu. We're dealing with H5N1 now, which is bird flu, which has taken the somewhat disturbing step of infecting mammals, namely cows and cats.
He's saying this like we haven't heard about bird flu our entire lives, and swine flu and this flu and that flu. He's like, we just found out about this new thing that we've tried to use that as a scare tactic. Every like 5 years or so, we just recycle the old ones. But have you heard of this H1N bird flu? What? It's like, yes, dipshit. Like, you use that. It's like a filler in between every time you can't come up with a better thing. It's always that. Yeah.
And other mammals, which means it's adapting itself more to a human. So my concern, Walter, is that whenever that happens, the next outbreak will be of a respiratory disease that's easily transmissible, that has a significant degree of morbidity.
And we are making this a little bit more dangerous with the cuts and our attitude toward science.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you for reminding me to. That was the point that the World Economic Forum or Israel or whoever told me to say. You got to make sure you get that part in there. And you'd think it's because we're cutting back on the science that's what's going to cause it. Oh, absolutely. It's the cutbacks on the science. Like, yeah, okay. The idea that anybody is still taking his opinion on anything, let alone having him come to speak at their convention, and the follow-up question to, I think maybe sometime within the next 3 lifetimes something bad might happen. Oh, wow. The follow-up question is, oh, and you think that's because Donald Trump doesn't like science, right? Yes, that's it. It's because of the bad science. It's laughably stupid and also laughably dangerous, because this guy still has some credibility in mainstream to some degree, and people will listen to this and people will go along with it. Do you think that it is urgent? I mean, I guess he wasn't even necessarily saying it's urgent. He's playing it as though it is, but it might be 30 years from now, it sounds like.
Yeah, that's the part that I hate the most. Like, obviously, this man is full of shit, lied. Fauci lied, people died. That is a true statement. But it's always also true that the government might release a bug that would actually fucking kill people.
Sure.
So
I like how those are the two possibilities to bring up. It's possible that he's full of shit, and it's possible that it's man-made, but there's not really anything in between.
Yeah. Well, I'm just saying that they would kill a lot of people, and he. Even though the last 5-year experience was nothing, that doesn't mean that they don't have something. They do have stuff that'll fucking kill people, and he's been involved with the gain of function research. We know all that shit. But so that bothers me that he comes with a little bit of credibility when he says, "Oh, a lot of people could die in 5, 10, or 20 years." Like he's saying, maybe they will do that.
Sounds an awful lot like the climate change predictions also. Like, someday, somewhere, it might be tomorrow, and it mightn't be 50,000 years from now. But mark my words, something bad's going to happen, and you'll know it when you see it.
Let me be clear. I don't think he's predicting, like, oh, it's only a matter of time, and it'll just, like, naturally occur. Like, I don't believe that. That's bullshit. But, chemical and biological weapons are just real. So
yeah,
that sucks.
We got a chat from White Graper. Says, "Yo, I missed you guys. Thank you, White Graper. Always happy for that endorsement. And appreciate you as well."
Endorsed.
All right. Moving on. We have, speaking of the science, we have Robert F. Kennedy Jr. in his latest statements, the most effective way to prevent the spread of measles is the MMR vaccine, was a recent statement from him. He says, since that time, the growth rates for new cases and hospitalizations have flattened. Blah, blah, blah. So, yeah, you can read through the whole thing if you feel like it, but he's... I know that he was never the anti-vaxxer necessarily that the media played him up to be. He's pro some vaccines, but there's something about this one in particular that seems to be rubbing people the wrong way, and his flip-flopping on it, because just like less than a year ago, I think, no. I don't remember when this interview was. I'm pretty sure it was on the campaign, though, so this is fairly recent interview with John Stossel interviewing Robert F. Kennedy Jr.
If your kids were young now, would you give them the measles, the mumps vaccine?
No. I got measles, mumps when I was a kid. It was...
Lots of people used to die from those diseases.
Well, you know what? They died in the 1900s, or early 1900s. There were about 10,000 Americans a year who died. In 1964, there was about 300 or 400 who died, and they were almost all severely malnourished kids, mainly from the Mississippi Delta. This was before the poverty program, so there was a lot of starving children in our country. It's very, very hard to kill a healthy child with any infectious disease, but particularly with measles. And the World Health Organization now says vitamin A is an absolute cure for measles, which we didn't know about back then. Back then, we were treated with chicken soup, and it was, a week at home watching Leave It to Beaver, and every kid caught it. Every single kid got it. And I had 11 brothers and sisters, and we all got it, and we were all fine. And there are lots and lots of studies out there now that show that kids who get measles as a child are much healthier when they grow up, that they're much more resistant to cancers, to atopic diseases, to allergies, and to...
I'm not going to play the whole thing, but I'm just letting this play for a bit so you know that it's not just he was like... he didn't just give a politician-y answer to what do you think about this vaccine. Right. He has all the reasons not to use it, why it's not necessary, why it's actually beneficial not to use it. You grow up and you're more healthy. That too now being like the best way to get rid of measles is the vaccine.
And to heart disease.
You went to Samoa. You convinced people not to get the measles vaccine. An outbreak resulted in 83 deaths.
Yeah, well, that story is not true. First of all, the Prime Minister of Samoa stayed the measles vaccine after measles vaccines killed a number of people in Samoa, including members of his family. So when I went to Samoa, the ban was already in place. And I visited people in Samoa. I didn't make a...
So even in things where it's like attempted gotcha questions... It's like he's got an answer to it. No, that's not true. Actually, the vaccine hurt a lot of people. Like he was very adamantly against this vaccine that he has now completely reversed his course on and given us plenty of reasons before this not to trust him, and they keep piling up. And it seems like every week, each one of these individuals, these key characters that helped get Donald Trump elected, they take another peg down and another step down. And now we've got RFK Jr. Pushing the measles vaccine immediately after saying not. And I mean, there is still the fact that the biggest issue in our health is anti-Semitism. So he's tackling that mostly. That's taking up a lot of his time. So maybe some of his stuff slipped his memory. But what are your thoughts on this, Dave?
Disappointing. That's the first. And yeah, like you said, man, he did not just flip-flop. He flip-flopped on something he knows quite a good deal about. So, but he's in the blackmail club. Yep. Looking pretty out. We're not the first to call him out on this. Dave Smith did early on, and it looks like, it's only a matter of time. Tulsi Gabbard's already let us down. Thumbs up in the bombing of the.
Oh yeah, I've got the Dave Smith clip
girlfriend.
That we're both going to keep referencing because and really what he says here is way better than what I was trying to get out last week. But I also think it's worth pointing out that this clip that's going viral right now, I shared it. So we've got, if we live in a time where I'm sharing a post I'm sharing Jimmy Dore's post, who's sharing Jake Shields' post, who's sharing Dave Smith, and all of these people are coming together to be like, yeah, this message is correct. We've got problems, and I think this sums it up better than the rest of us can.
Couldn't imagine Director of National Intelligence was going to be being better than Tulsi Gabbard, head of the FBI being better than Kash Patel, or the health secretary being better than Bobby Kennedy. You got Tulsi cheering on leveling an apartment building. Missile guy back to his apartment building where his girlfriend lives. So we leveled the building, and she's sending like thumbs up emojis. Every time I hear from Kash Patel lately, it's never about the criminals in government anymore. He was on a goddamn media tour for 2 years. Everything he ever said was that there's all these criminals in the FBI. Gotta get these people who committed all these heinous crimes against our republic. Not talking about that anymore today. And Bobby Kennedy is out fighting the real health crisis, which is anti-Semitism. Looking around the administration at this point, I think we got the positives out of Donald Trump that we would get, but man, this all just points in such a bad direction. I knew I would be disappointed, but it is on the level of a Greek tragedy that these guys had this mandate and this opportunity, and they're just fucking it all up.
Tragic. He's right.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not just like, hey, our team isn't winning. It's like, what an opportunity this appeared to be. What an opportunity we thought we were voting for. What an opportunity with all of these people based on their words. And like I said last week, I still don't regret that I voted for the guy who lied the best. But he lied fucking good this time, and all of them did if this is the direction we're going. And if so, I don't regret it, but I do regret that this is where we are. So be it. I wasn't going to vote for Chase Oliver either way. But, yeah, there's that. You got anything else on Dr. Science, Dr. Not Science, anti-vax guy, or Dave Smith or anybody before we take a quick break?
No, just that, I mean, maybe not RFK specifically, but I think this is an interesting time because there is overlap with stuff that we want and we're getting, like good results, and stuff that's awful at the same time. Like that's usually not the case. I guess
Agreed.
That's better than
I'm asking this genuinely because I feel that way too, but there's a part of me that's like, what are the good things again that we're getting?
No, they literally are doing positive things in the realm of the Second Amendment. Like that's really happening.
Okay.
And
you're more
me,
tied into that sphere than I am.
When it really comes down to it, dude, I mean, like that's, I live in Delaware. This is a tyrannical state. Mm-hmm. So if they would just lay off the guns, like people would just, I guarantee there'd be a lot less uproar from like conservatives. Cause like you can work other shit out. Like, fuck, I'm not going to go to my city council or like, I'm not going to be invested in like spending. Like, I don't fucking care. But coming after like guns and stuff, like that's a real line in the sand.
Sure.
So a state that respects that, will probably respect other things. But so they're doing good stuff there. I think that, some of the Doge stuff, could be smoke and mirrors for sure, but I still have some hopes for that. But yeah, the foreign policy stuff is just the absolute worst. And
yeah, and we've got more of that coming up because we got to talk about Netanyahu and the trade war and all that stuff. But first, we got to talk about these fucking wolves, Dave. We got to talk about those. But first, we got to sell some shirts.
Hey there. Do you like shirts? Of course you do. Well, get a load of these shirts from dissidentshop.com. Your one-stop shop for all the latest designs that will make your friends go, oh, wow. That guy is so based, I want to be his friend during the apocalypse. Go to dissidentshop.com and wear the dissidents you want to see in the world.
Hi, I'm Ruby Wednesday, a strong, independent pup and a lifelong bitches advocate. I have a new channel where I share pieces of my life to try to help my fellow bitches cope by drawing attention to myself for clicks and validation. If you're into shows like Sex and the City, Gossip Girl, and an all-female reboot of The Call of the Wild, you're just the kind of wolf queen I'm looking for. Check me out now at Official Ruby Wednesday on TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, and all the strong bitch socials. At Official Ruby Wednesday. Go follow me and keep blocking bitches.
Have you or a loved one been injured by some fuck nuggets, reckless driving, a tumble at your shitty job, or some other form of dumb shit outside of your control? Well, fear not, because today's episode is sponsored by a lawyer. Lone Star Injury Attorneys is an award-winning personal injury law firm that achieves maximum results for its injured clients. Max the Axe is not just a lawyer, but a hardcore Mises Caucus libertarian and also a big supporter of this show and all of our bullshit. Max is the best personal injury lawyer in Texas, but don't judge him by his occupation or location. Max is an avid defender of liberty and justice in whatever state you got fucked in. If you've been injured and your ass needs saving, go with the pros at Lone Star Injury Attorneys. Visit LoneStarInjuryAttorneys.com or Google Max the Axe. Consultations are free and you don't pay a single dime unless you win. Once again, go to LoneStarInjuryAttorneys.com and get your ass covered. And we are back, and I am frozen in this very peculiarly thoughtful position. Dave, carry the show for a second while I fix it.
All right. Yo, I got an idea while he's fixing that. Put down this, right? Get your phone out. Check this out. DissidentShop.com. Go check that out. Buy some t-shirts. If you got any ideas for t-shirts, send them our way so that we can print them up and take credit for your work. And, maybe Dan will drop you in that Downers Club or something for a reward. I don't know. But,
Maybe I'll
go
send
there.
you a couple free bonus episodes. I don't know about a full Downers Club membership, but yeah.
Ooh, fuck that.
Yeah, we
I don't
can
know.
work things out,
Yeah, something. But yeah, go check out those shirts. Buy those.
Absolutely. Go check them out. And yeah, hit us up wherever you see us. If you have an idea, even if you just want a shirt for yourself, but you don't know how to design it, let us know. We'll drop that in there because it takes us very little time and you can go get it. And if anybody else likes your idea, they can buy it too. DissidentShop.com. Now, we got a fake super chat from Sim Calpin. Says fake super chat. Dave is the man. The coalition of people who want to see him in power continues to grow. I'm not sure if he's talking about Dave Smith or you, Dave, but
you're not sure, bro.
I'm pretty sure the coalition of people wanting to see you in power keeps growing just based on your participation in the show.
The movement is real, and they're out there, and I appreciate them. No, I'm pretty sure he's talking about Dave Smith, but I don't know if there's a group people want to see him in power. I don't know if
Yeah, I mean, if we're just talking about the politics, he's definitely growing in size and support, and his ideas are getting out there, and they're good ones, and his views on all these things, he's influencing a lot of really big name people like Joe Rogan's and Tony Hinchcliffe's and stuff like that. Like Tony Hinchcliffe just had his Netflix Kill Tony had their Netflix debut this past couple days ago, and so I've talked about Kill Tony on the show before too, and I thought about bringing that up earlier in the show because I do think it's important. It's an important show because it's very edgy comedy and everybody's kind of welcome to be as offensive as they want to be and, talk and make jokes and do the comedy thing. Netflix picking that up, I think, is a sign of where the culture is going for that they're willing to have this offensive show on their platform, even if it is for a few episodes or whatever. They're taking a chance with that, and I think that's great. Yeah, as far as Dave Smith goes, yes, he's been on Kill Tony. He's done all these platforms, and he's making a splash. But if you're thinking that the way that he's going to be the best used in this environment is by running for office, I don't know. I don't know if I buy that. And we tried pushing that, and I don't necessarily hold it against Dave because he continues to be way more influential than even the Libertarian Party is. But I digress, and we will save that more for the after party where we talk more about the Libertarian Party. But you got any other thoughts on that before we talk about wolves, Dave?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Dave wants to do a Netflix special, not run for president. So
right.
I don't know. I wouldn't get your hopes up, but I'll support him either way.
And also, as I've said before, in the case of Dave Smith or the case of Ron Paul, don't put all your hope behind one guy for anything, because especially if it's behind them running for office, because that's an entirely demonic basket of crazy, deplorable people that nobody should have to suffer to be in, and changing the culture has much more value. So let's move on, because this is just crammed right in the middle of politics, because we have more politics to talk about, but we absolutely have to talk about the title of the show, which is these fucking dire wolves, Dave. We're bringing them back. We're bringing back the dire wolves, whatever the fuck that is. Nobody knew until yesterday what dire wolves were, but now we have brought them back after their supposed 10,000 years of being extinct. We have brought back this It's not an endangered species that we saved. This is an extinct species from 10,000 years ago. I don't know how we know about it. I don't know how we did it. I don't know how the science works. I know that cancer's still not cured, but for some reason we're bringing back prehistoric animals or whatever the fuck. And I have more thoughts on this, but just off the bat, what's your thought on Jurassic Park Wolf Edition, Dave?
Yeah, usually I'm against man messing with nature in this way, but they are adorable. So I'm going to make an exception for them.
Well, we only have puppies so far, Dave. They grow up to be much bigger than the puppies that we're all swooning over right now. And
we gotta old yeller them in 6 months. That's gotta happen.
You gotta put them down. Sorry, you had your time. Here is this is from the YouTube account of the. Here it has the pictures of them, and then it has the YouTube account for what's their name? At It Is Colossal on YouTube. That is the account that is following these abominations to God, I suppose, because God said, "Hey, I'm done with you guys. We're gonna move you out and bring in some new models." And then man came in or whatever and was like, "I'm gonna bring those back and see how that goes." That's where we're at right now. But let's watch these adorable things for a second.
Over 10,000 years ago, a howl was lost to time. But today it returns. Meet Remus and Romulus, the first two direwolves since the Pleistocene era. At just 15 days old, the pups take their first wobbly steps before a much-needed nap time.
And then they grew up to maul your face off. Oh, little killers.
At 1 month, the pups enter a pivotal stage of development. The transitional phase. Here they begin to growl, chew, and take the first steps into the world beyond the den.
That's true why we're doing metal music, but sure. Now, what's weird to me already is that we just heard about this within the last couple of days, I feel like. But these pups are already pretty decent size. Like, we're already watching kind of the span of their life. If this was a prehistoric species that we brought back from the dead, wouldn't this have come up somewhere in the gestation period and before teenagehood, where they're listening to Metallica and chewing on things, Dave?
Yeah, I don't know. You're above my pay grade on that one.
No, I'm not. I'm just asking questions.
We're on borrowed time here, though. That thing's gonna fucking kill you.
That's a good way to segue into my next bit here, which is the size that the direwolf grows up to be that we decided to bring back. It is, here's, I can't, why do you never work? So there's the husky dog, which is, the size of a husky dog, roughly. Then there's the gray wolf, slightly bigger. Then the dire wolf is like twice the size of a wolf. So, I mean, we already don't like wolves. There's movies about, the gray, what's his name, Liam Neeson? You ever watch that? Wolves are already bad. We didn't need to make double wolves. Why are we bringing back double wolves, Dave? Of all the things to bring back, too. I'm sure there were plenty of, prehistoric animals that were nice or neat or cool. This is, something that we have currently, but just bigger and probably meaner.
I don't know why, but as soon as we started talking about this, I went right back to RFK and the old MMR vaccine. And I think that the greater lesson
vaccines
is
causing dire wolves, Dave?
Yeah, that's really what it gets boils down to. No, just when man starts fucking around because noble intentions or evil, it doesn't matter. For whatever reason, you decided that you needed to start, doing shots in the arm for whatever reason. And then look at the blowback. That's what it is. It's blowback. You're supposed to get the measles so that you can have the immunity for the other things that might come your way, like cancer.
And species that are supposed to be dead are dead, might be dead for a reason.
Should remain dead. They should remain dead. Exactly. We should not fuck with God's plan there, Daniel.
I agree, Brother David. No one at all says, fake super chat, God is dead, God remains dead, and we have killed him. Nietzsche. Yes. And also, I will state that he actually meant something else by that. I know that is attributed a lot for many atheists, but he actually meant that we have removed God. We have turned ourselves into God, and therefore God remains away from us because we have removed him from us. And I only know that because my wife tells me that story all the time. She's brought it up 3 or 4 times in our marriage, and I enjoy it every time. I love you. Thank you. Now, Sean Van Beaverhout says, fake super chat, do you think Netanyahu told Tim Pool he has a nice beanie and Tim responded, you too? Hey,
Yes,
that needs something here.
Nazi fags.
Nice.
All right.
Nice pume.
Moving on, we've got, what do we got? Oh, that's a great transition, Sean Van Beaverhout, who you commented that like 10 minutes ago. It's a great way to segue into our next topic of discussion, which is President Donald Trump and Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu at the White House this week. And I don't know if I missed something, Dave, but there were no shouting matches over why don't you say thank you enough for the billions and trillions of dollars and all the stuff that we've given you. Why are you demanding so much from us and not being more grateful? Why didn't we get that, Dave? Why didn't they say the same things to Netanyahu that they said to Zelensky? Because the only difference that I can see is that the dude's wearing a fucking suit.
Bro, I think he pulled the chair out for him again. He did not get the memo from last time. And yeah, dude, I saw him. There's a clip on the Dissident page that I put over there, but they talked about Gaza for at least a couple minutes. And
I've got a few clips.
Bro, the 1984 doublespeak is strong with this one.
Uh-huh.
Oh, well, basically what we're going to do is we're just going to come in there, like we're going to just move some people around. You know what we're going to call it? We're going to call it the freedom zone. It's a free zone.
Yep.
It's basically free.
It's free
Well,
of
how are
all
you gonna...
the life that was living there before. Just free now.
Right. How are you going to take it? Under what authority? The United States.
Uh-huh.
Like, oh, so you're going to buy it? No. It's just going to be ours.
Mm-hmm.
Which is weird because, you know, Netanyahu's right there. But again, if it is different store, same groceries for U.S. and Israeli intelligence at this point, you know, he probably doesn't care that in maybe in name only, maybe you'll call it the United States, you know, port of whatever. But like, let's be honest about who's going to be occupying that area, right?
The same ones that are occupying the United States.
He said, oh, we're going to have a peace force there. The United States Peace Force. Like, it's, bro.
The Patriot Act. Yes. Freedom. Love. Yeah, we've got a few clips here. I don't remember which is which. Who's Pete Hegseth again? I know we were supposed to be torn on whether or not he was good recently as an appointment. Who is he again?
Secretary of Defense.
Okay. Secretary of Defense said this. Thank you, Mr. President. Coming soon, the first $1 trillion Deputy of Defense budget. I don't know. President, real Donald Trump, is rebuilding our military and fast. Here's the clip.
But despite that, we have a tremendous military. That was a very small portion because we rebuilt the military during my first term, and we have great things happening with our military. We also essentially approved
great, beautiful
a
things.
budget, which is in the facility. You'll like to hear this, of $1 trillion, $1 trillion. And nobody's.
Why will he like to hear that?
Why would he like that, Dave? Why would Benjamin Netanyahu specifically like that the United States is upping their military budget by $1 trillion? Because it's not for us.
We have to build our military, and we're very cost conscious, but the military is something that we have to build, and we have to be strong because you got a lot of bad forces out there now. So we're going to be approving a budget.
Now watch this is what Donald Trump does. He says the bad part, and he says it as though it's a good thing, and then he follows it up with something that makes it sound okay. He fumbles through, and here's why that's a good thing, because we're saving money when we spend trillions of dollars on us/Israel's military defense.
Proud to say, actually, the biggest one we've ever done for the military. We're cutting other things that were under Doge, but under a lot of other. When you look at a woman getting $2 billion for environmental, and it had nothing to do with environmental. And they had $100 in the bank, and they give her $2 billion. Many of those cases, all that stuff is going to be cut out.
It's like such a fumble there too, in trying to be like, well, but it's actually fine because we're cutting in other budgets. And you heard Doge, it got a lot of buzz on the Elon. You remember Elon? Yeah, we're cutting things. Like the one person who got the one money. Yeah, we cut that. So $1 trillion to us defending Israel. That's a good thing because we cut like $100,000 from this budget over here. So $1 trillion to Israel is just fine.
I hate that I still love it when he says billions. Billions
and billions.
Billions.
BEELIONS.
I do love it. But this is terrible, and it makes me think that the whole time that he was like earning the trust of middle America.
It's what makes it feel even more dirty. Yeah.
To do this, to do the big war for the big military machine.
Yep.
And he gets to sell it. He's not captaining it, obviously, but he gets to sell it because that's what he does. Hashtag art of the deal. So he gets to be sitting there right next to the guy, like he's the new Elon Musk, just kind of like, overseeing things, I suppose. Yes. The Musk of the day, right? It's just so terrible, man. I could forgive so much, but this is. If this goes like, the way we think it's going to go, that's unforgivable. And we will have probably, not that we had an effect, like a vote really counts, but like it will not be, I will feel bad.
It makes it feel dirtier. Yeah. It doesn't make me glad that I voted for Trump. I still don't regret that I fell for the best lie, but in the best sales pitch, but I do regret that he is the president if this is the way he's going to use it. I'm not saying there was a better option, but I do regret that he is the president. And last week, I posted this next clip. Well, you brought it up a minute ago, the one about Gaza, and I posted this. Me last week. Who knows? Maybe Trump will stop sucking by next week. Me this week. F. Because this is Trump this week.
Would buy Gaza, and today you just said we're not going to buy Gaza.
We're not going to have to buy. We're going to have Gaza. We don't have to buy. There's nothing to buy. We will have Gaza.
What does that mean?
No reason to buy. There is nothing to buy. It's Gaza. It's a war-torn area. We're going to take it. We're going to hold it. We're going to cherish it.
And Mr. President,
hold it and cherish
it. Take it under what authority? It is sovereign territory.
Under the U.S. authority.
Under the U.S. authority, we're going to take another country. And it's fine because there's nothing there. We're going to take it. We're going to hold it. We're going to cherish it. We're going to create it like a baby. There's nothing there to cherish. Like, there's still people there. It's still a place that has citizens, but we're just going to take it. We're going to hold it and cherish it. It's a war-torn country. Sitting next to Benjamin Netanyahu, the guy who war-torn the fuck out of that country, he's like, well, we're just going to, there's nothing there. So it's just ours for the taking because we have the U.S. authority. Like, didn't vote for that. I did not vote for that. I voted for the guy, but that was not the sales pitch at all. Otherwise, I would not have voted for him. Now that it is, yep, that's a problem. Trump still sucks.
And we're starting, you'll see conservative Inc. influencers like really struggling right now, I think, because there's no, dude said, Tim Pool just had a secret meeting, literally. Had a secret
that is the next thing on the agenda.
Benjamin Netanyahu.
Go for it.
Fuck that. Fuck these people. You are a fraud or retarded. Get fucked. Secret. But dude, I think that's just what happens. Like if you reach Tim Pool's level for whatever reason, you are approached and, I don't know, maybe there's pressure to, that we don't know about, but I am not interested in following really Tim Pool anymore. That's just a total deal breaker. This isn't difference of opinion or politics. That's an evil motherfucker, dude. Evil.
I've watched him beat around the bush on the Israel topic with people like. There's clips out there of Ian trying to bring up the USS Liberty, and then Tim Pool being like, we can't, let's not go there, or just shutting down the conversation and shit. And it's like, okay, if you just don't want to get canceled from YouTube or whatever, I understand that, but there's some point, like if we're not getting kicked off of YouTube, Tim Pool's not getting kicked off of YouTube probably either, especially if we're as safe as he plays it on this topic. But Tim Pool, yes, went to explain a bit. There was this meeting, this secret meeting that nobody talked about, to my knowledge, beforehand, in the White House area. I don't think it was actually in the White House, or maybe it was. I don't know. Wherever Netanyahu was staying, there was a secret meeting that was set up for all of these influencers, including Dave Rubin, Tim Pool, and several others, to go and meet with Benjamin Netanyahu and ask him some questions. And they were told going into it that they were not allowed to, like Tim Pool will explain for you here in a minute, all the big brain journalisty terms for going into a meeting that you know that you're not allowed to share the information on, but we have some things to tell you and you're not going to be able, like, in this clip that I'm going to play, I just want to make it very clear. Tim Pool shared this clip as a win for himself. This is his clip. This is not clipped out of context. This is from Timcast News, shared absolute fake news. Tim Pool sets the record straight on the misleading coverage of his roundtable discussion with Benjamin Netanyahu. So he is going to set the record straight, and we'll give him a chance to make his argument and justify why he had a meeting with Benjamin Netanyahu where he was told that he wasn't allowed to share anything. But, you know, it didn't work out that way anyway, so it's fine.
Last night I wasn't here. I got late word that I was invited to a private roundtable meeting with Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. It was under what's called Chatham House rules. For those that are not familiar, this means that you cannot reveal anybody who attended, nor attribute anything to any one individual, as they can deny it, and they would.
Now, Dave, if somebody told you, and I'm asking this genuinely, whatever. I don't honestly know what I would say if I was asked this question, but if somebody asked you, we want you to go to the White House to interview or to ask Benjamin Netanyahu questions, it's a private thing, you won't be able to share anything, would you still do it? I think I would.
I think I'd be kind of terrified. But
yeah, that would be my first thought, but I would still,
because I keep it real though. I would be like, oh shit, this motherfucker has heard me talk about him. And he's
which is why we would never get the invite, but yes, if we did, like,
with Rubin, purchaser of babies.
That's a good question.
Because are you serving Satan, motherfuckers? That's what I'm going right to the point, bro.
Well, let's see. But yeah, I can understand just the same as like the Epstein thing that we've talked about. Like, I have the same stance on this as I had on that. Like, if somebody invited me and said, we're going to give you, we like you, we respect you, and we want to give your platform the chance to release the Epstein files, I would go and I'd make an ass of myself, because I'd be like, fuck yeah, holding the thing up and be like, well, shit, they inked it all out and there's actually nothing here. But I would have had a lot of follow-up episodes talking about how I got made an ass of if I was not, like, bought and paid for. Like, some people could be. Who knows? But Tim Pool, for whatever reason.
Isn't the deal, real quick before we move on, like they were supposed to keep that a secret, right? And it leaked, and then he had to talk about it, right?
Something like that. But even when it wasn't really leaked. I think it was like they were told that they had to keep it private. So it was a similar situation to this. They were supposed to keep it private until it was made public by the White House. And the White House didn't put it out when they said they were going to. And DC Drano said, hey, can I put this out? And they said yes. And then he put it out, and then it was blurry. And then everybody was like, what the fuck? And then he, I guess, talked about it a bit.
What about this one? What about this one, though? Like with the meeting with Netanyahu. Like they weren't supposed to talk about that.
No.
But somebody did. Right?
And we're going to get into that because, I just wanted to address the point. Like, I would still probably go if I was invited. I would be real skeptical, and I would have a lot to say about it after. But, it is a cause for concern that not that he went, but that he was invited. Why were you invited to this thing? Is it just because you've had Trump on your show a couple of times, or?
And would you go if you weren't allowed to talk about it?
Oh, that's a tough one.
Tim Pool did.
I'm sure.
Oh,
yeah.
now I got to talk about it.
And I mean, at some point, there's got to be something you can say. And even here, he says you can talk about what was said. You just can't talk about who said it or who was there or whatever. But you can say what was said. So I still think there's value to be had even in those contexts. But let's listen to more of his explanation. And even more so, just again, Tim Pool shared this of himself, and I think this clip just makes him look like just grosser than even just somebody who would go to a private meeting with Netanyahu.
However, what I love about what the White House is currently doing, when you bring together a bunch of influencers and podcasters who don't know much about journalism culture, whatever you want to call it, not that we respect it tremendously, most people didn't know what Chatham House meant. So with all due respect, it's funny because they bring us into the Blair House, which is where Netanyahu was staying. And immediately people are walking around with their cameras, their phones up. They actually took our phones from us. And I legit thought they would maintain Chatham House rules, meaning you can't quote the prime minister, you can't quote his officials and the other people who were there, but you can report what was said generally. If you wanted an official quote on a specific matter, you would then ask an official once the meeting was wrapped, and they'd provide you the exact quote. Or they would just say outright, like, we ain't putting our quotes on that one. So the story that comes out, which
also, it should raise, like, attention, concern going into this. Like, why do they need that much lockdown on what is said and who said it and who was there for this thing? Like, that would immediately make me like, do I have to don the robe and put on the mask too to join this meeting?
Imagine handing over your phone to Mossad.
Right.
What the fuck's the matter with you?
Yeah. He did.
Basically violated whatever. I was going to talk about what we went there for a reason. This story from Jewish Insider says Netanyahu pushes back on anti-Israel trends in a meeting with podcasters. I don't know if the individual who wrote this, Lahav Harkov, was actually there, but this is wrong. It's fake news. And people are now spreading fake news about me because I'm going to go ahead and say as arrogantly as I can to everyone else who was there. I hope you all hear me because I'm saying this somewhat facetiously. I think I was the only one that asked a real question. Now that I've pissed off all the other journalists and individuals who were there.
I wasn't there, and I'm not a journalist. And it's like, dude, shut the fuck up. Like, I already had my skepticism about your engagement in this thing, but now you're like, well, I know what Chatham House rules are because I'm a journalist, and I think I was the only person who asked a good, decent question there because, what do you guys think? Now that I pissed off everybody, like, dude, shut up. Nobody cares. We already thought you were gross from the get-go on this, but sharing this to your own account and being like, see, this disproves it, where he's being like a smug, smarmy journalist asshole. Like the line between, I posted something earlier today that's like the line between independent journalism and mainstream media gap is closing like rapidly. And it's like, we've got, I looked through like Timcast's like last couple days and it's like, the stock market is tanking because Trump's trade war with China. And then it's like, the stock market is great because of Trump's trade war with China. And also, I'm going to private meetings with Israel. It's like, you sound like CNN just with a different hat on, a different beanie on, a different tiny beanie sometimes, some might say. But, yeah, just, I don't know, like, to choose the clip where you're being the smug asshole that's like, I actually also know more than everybody else about everything, and I'm a narcissist. And then he goes on to talk about his super big brain question. Now, everybody else's stupid questions were like, hey, what the fuck? Like, why are you bombing the shit out of Gaza? Like, really legit questions. And he'll he'll make fun of those a little bit, and then he'll go on to his very smart question.
Most people were asking what I would describe as, I don't know, I felt like pretty obvious questions. Is there going to be a war with Iran? Do you think the nuclear talks are going to be good? That Trump is going to be talking with you? Will it work out for you? What's the concern?
The most important stuff.
What's going on with your prime ministership or whatever? And you get these answers that I really felt like you could have just got off Fox News.
Now, his big brain question, and also pay really close attention to the substantial payoff that he set this all up for.
You know, the prime minister is going to get asked about this stuff, and he's going to say, I can't speak too much on the nuclear deals, blah, blah, blah. Considering this was Chatham House, and it was expected whatever he said was going to come out, I didn't see anything really substantive. However, in the story, they say, Poole expressed concerns about increased anti-Semitism and anti-Zionism in the pro-Trump podcasting space, according to sources in the room, so they weren't there. Poole famously had Kanye West on his podcast, and the rapper walked out mid-interview after Poole pushed back against anti-Semitic comments. Responding to Poole, Netanyahu said that the reason he invited the group is to meet with him. To me? Poole argued that there is a Qatari op to manipulate social media algorithms to make anti-Semitic and anti-Israel episodes appear to receive far more views than, say, tips for picking up women, in order to incentivize podcasters and YouTubers to produce more anti-Semitic content. Netanyahu, however, was non-committal in his response, saying that's only possible. Fake news!
How dare you, Tim?
Absolute fake news. It's close to reality, but this is what they do, okay? First, the person who was there clearly wasn't there. Ask somebody who then conveyed incorrectly what I actually said. I said there has been a report released from pro-Israel sources alleging Qatar is funding bots and operations to promote anti-Israel content. Is there any evidence that's true? And he said, I don't know. It's possible. That's what happened.
I don't know. It's possible. So, okay. So all these other dimwit journalists, he's dogging on independent journalists who are finally being allowed into the White House. He's dogging on them because they don't know what this journalism thing is. They don't know about that one rule where if they say that password, you have to keep your mouth shut about everything, and you're probably going to get, you're going to get tagged. You're going to have to wear the robe and get fucked before you can leave this meeting. They didn't know that. Those stupid journalists, they asked the stupid questions like, why are you bombing the shit out of people? And then they got stupid answers that anybody could get off the internet. So I asked him, what do you think about, some people are saying that Qatar is, sponsoring the anti-Israel message. What do you think about that? And he said, it's possible. Good job, Tim Poole. That's the big journalism. We just watched 3.5 minutes of you setting up how you're the biggest, smartest brain in the room, and you got, great. Cool. Was it worth your soul? Just wondering. But any thoughts so far, Dave?
Yeah, he's just pissing me off, man. Honestly, I it's insulting. So and I don't know what his audience is made up of. It's so many people, so I'm sure there's a mosaic there. But it's insulting to your audience to are you trying to make me think that they just wanted to answer questions from the real press, not the corporate news. So they brought in these people who tell the truth. It's just so stupid.
At the same time, he's trashing on those people. He's saying it should be these people, and also those people are stupid. It's just me.
But wasn't it supposed to be that you weren't allowed to tell who was there?
Yeah.
So maybe he didn't.
Well, they dropped that, I guess. They dropped that because he's like, they pulled out their phones immediately, and then they took their phones away, but I guess it's fine. I don't know. But I guess it is fine because Dave Rubin also is talking about it. Dave Rubin had this to say: incredible few hours with Netanyahu. On Monday, he took my difficult questions, explained how the idea of the deep state goes back to Socrates and Plato, and even cracked a couple jokes. So just a fun old pal Netanyahu cracking light and making light of things like the deep state. Pshaw. That goes back to the olden days of Socrates and Plato. That was his post. That was the enlightening coverage that we got from the independent, free-thinking journalists of today.
Bro, nothing will shatter the myth of the deep state like getting told what the deep state is by the deep state.
Right. Yep.
So, again, you put Dave Rubin right next to Tim Poole. It's not helping Tim Poole's case of not looking like a fucking Israeli toady.
Right.
Because that's what it
is. Everybody liked Dave Rubin. He was in the circle. He was in the cool kids club up until October, whatever, when all this stuff went down. And then everybody's like, oh, he's just hardcore, whatever Israel says Israel gets at this point. And that seems to be the breaking point for a lot of these groups, or a lot of these tribes of the Tim Pooles, the Daily Wires, to some extent the Steven Crowders, because even Steven Crowder's been he's pushed back a tiny bit, I've noticed recently, but it's taken him a long time to even push back that much, it seems like. But the Daily Wires, Tim Poole's, Dave Rubin's, all these people. And it's just this one thing that separates them from everybody else who's like the Dave Smiths of the world, or let's say the Tony Hinchcliffes of the world. I'm pretty sure Dave Rubin pretended to be a comedian at one point. Why isn't he going on to kill Tony these days and influencing people?
I don't know, man. I think he chose his side there. But you're right. Like, it was October 7th that really like kicked this thing into high gear, caused a huge splinter in the whatever you want to call it, red-pilled conservative libertarian space.
Yeah.
And it is the worst. It's the worst mind virus I've ever seen, because it's just there's
knows
the
no bounds.
bloodlust. The bloodlust is just unparalleled.
Yep.
Oh, just return the hostages and this will end tomorrow. What will end tomorrow? The genocide you're committing? You're telling me what?
We'll stop slaughtering innocent people if you turn over the 20-something innocent people. This is on you.
All you got to do.
It's on you. Because innocent people matter to us.
That is the spell they tell.
That's right. Now we got to talk at least a bit about this trade war shit, because it is another. I am genuinely interested in what your take is on this trade war shit with China, Dave, because I don't really know what to make of it. There's part of me that's like, it seems I hear every day that the economy is going to tank, and every other day that the economy is going to boom any minute now, because Trump's going back and forth with China and back and forth with everybody with all these tariffs. And I know tariffs are theft and taxation is theft and tax this ass. We'll talk about that in the after party. But the stuff with Trump and China, before we get into that, I got to play my favorite Trump clip of the week. Here's definitely was not created by AI. Kind of wish it was. Trump talking about the problems that we're facing today as modern Americans.
But likewise, an old-fashioned term that we use, groceries. I used it in the campaign. It's such an old-fashioned term, but a beautiful term, groceries. It sort of says a bag with different things in it. Groceries went through the roof. And I campaigned on that. I talked about the word groceries for a lot.
Ukraine is a little country, and Russia is a big country, and the big country is being mean to the little country, and groceries go into the bag. Groceries, it's a beautiful word that I heard once. Groceries, you put them in a bag because they're things, and magic happens when you buy them. Is Donald Trump a genius or an idiot? I don't know anymore, Dave. Or is it a little bit of both?
No, he's this is distilled Trumpianism. This is like what he does. Like I when I see stuff like that, dude, it makes me think like, wow, he's really not like us. Like, he's been so separate, like he's a different kind of human. Yeah. Like, could be the perfect Manchurian candidate. Like, completely unaffected. Like, that's crazy to talk about groceries like that. That's so out of touch from the average human being.
And this is also Donald Trump, the guy who, in brilliant PR moves, did like the McDonald's stunt, the truck drive, the garbage truck driving stunt, all that stuff that speaks to the lay person. But when this is to the point of like Hillary Clinton saying to the black folk, like on the Breakfast Club, I keep hot sauce in my purse because I'm a spicy gal, or whatever the fuck. And this is Donald Trump being like, you know what groceries are? They're bags. Beautiful, beautiful. Nobody uses that word anymore. You know who uses that word still, Donald Trump? People who buy their own fucking groceries. They use it all the time. It's not a new word. It's not an old word. It's just a word that people use regular.
Bro, this guy, I mean, he doesn't drive a car. Like, he doesn't, like, you know, like, he is not like us in so many ways. And I just think he is so detached. But it's crazy that he went out there and he gave up the script. Went on the campaign trail talking about groceries. The beautiful word, antiquated, but you've heard it, groceries. It's fucking insane, dude.
It's fun to watch, certainly.
It is fun. It's entertaining. Like, it's not. I'm not even insulted by it, because there's nothing wrong with being totally detached from and not shut. Look, man, I got HelloFresh. I'd like to have groceries fucking delivered in a box.
Sure.
But like, you know, he's been not grocery shopping for his entire life, which is. But yeah, he definitely gave something away there, where he's playing the role of the everyman, but you are not like us. Like, that's
let's
just
get
crazy.
off script. Sometimes the everyman character breaks a little bit and it's the funny thing is, it's when he's trying to play the everyman that it breaks even more. When he's trying to be like, this is what the people want to hear me say. Groceries. You know that word, groceries. Yes, we do, Donald. They're getting more expensive. That's really what we're here to discuss, not the definition of the word and how good you feel about it. But, yeah, speaking of...
Incredible.
Yeah. And speaking of, Donald Trump has been having his back and forth with China lately. So a couple of days ago, I haven't followed it that closely. Have you followed the tariff or the trade war shit with China that closely, Dave?
No, not really. In fact, I didn't know that China was the big focus of this. I didn't know we got there already. Escalated quickly.
Yes, it happened really quickly because Trump's like, I'm going to put tariffs on everybody and everything, and they're going to be high because we're getting screwed over. And everybody's like, well, you can't do it to China because if you do it to China, we're going to end up being the ones working on the iPhones in our sweatshops and blah, blah, blah. I don't know. I've kind of avoided all of it because I kind of feel like all of this is going to work itself out in one way or another for better or worse, and I don't want to be the Tim Pools of the world that give the hourly update on tariffs good, tariffs bad, China happy, China mad. Like, I don't give a shit about the daily coverage, but it seems like over the last week there's been some back and forth where Trump has been like, we're going to put this tariff on, and then China's like, well, we're going to put a higher tariff on, and now Trump's like, we're going to put an even higher tariff on, and the latest that I have seen from him is this, where he's like, based on the lack of respect that China has shown the world's markets, I am hereby raising the tariff charged to China by the United States of America to 125% effective immediately. At some point, hopefully in the near future, China will realize that the days of ripping off the USA and other countries is no longer sustainable or acceptable. Conversely, and based on the fact that more than 75 countries have called representatives of the United States, including the Departments of Commerce, Treasury, and the USTR, to negotiate a solution to the subjects being discussed relative to trade barriers, tariffs, currency manipulation, and non-monetary tariffs, and that these countries have not, at my strong suggestion, retaliated in any way. First off, Trump did not write this. Based on his description of groceries, I have to guess that this was not written by Trump. Maybe it's the fact that it's not in all caps, but maybe it's the fact that it is written like a lawyer wrote it. But retaliated in any way, shape, or form against the United States, I have authorized a 90-day pause. There's Trump. And substantially lowered reciprocal tariff during this period of 10%, also effective immediately. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Now, what that means is Donald Trump said, because China's being a bitch and they're not going along with my pressure on the tariffs and they keep they keep raising the stakes, I'm going to raise them even higher for China. I'm not only going to raise them higher for China, but because China is the only ones who are like pushing back on this thing, and what was it, 75 other countries are like, okay, that makes sense. That seems fair. We're going to go along with it because China's the ones being the biggest bitch and pushing back on this. I'm going to bump it up even higher to 125%. Not only that, but I'm going to drop everybody else's for a 90-day pause down to 10% because fuck you, China. And I am torn on how I feel about that.
Oh, my God. We're doing a super deal on tariffs right now. I'm going to fuck China up in the next couple of weeks. So right now, for a limited time only, I'm going to give 10% to the rest of you fuckers.
I mean, there's something about it. Like, I don't know how it works out or pans out in the end, but there's something about it that's like, this is fucking history being made because I've never heard of these sorts of deals. We've never seen these done out in the public. We've got Trump like on his social media being like, fuck you, China, 125, pray I don't make it 400 or whatever. And China's clapping back. Like, the age of social media politics is well upon us. And yeah, we've got Trump just tweeting that fuck the other great superpower in the world that we are up against.
So here's what I think, all the groundwork that they've laid and all the trust that all these people have in Trump at the moment, and dealing with, just mediocre, just the middle of America. Okay. I think that he can fake it now. Like, this is good for China's government and the U.S. government, dude. Right? When they hear Trump say, we've been getting ripped off for far too long. Nobody's going to do this to us anymore. Like, it feels like the collective us. But you won't see that money. You'll spend money.
Yeah.
But it feels good to hear that we're not going to be, because
I mean, we already heard about him saving. We've saved money here, so we can give it all to Israel now. So.
Oh my God! Right, right. But it feels good and it sounds good. Oh, we've been ripped off, and now we're not going to get ripped off. But who's the we? It's that is the government. They're going to pull more money in for the government. China's going to make more money for the Chinese government, and the people of both countries will continuously, like always, be under the boot.
Are you black pilling me on this, Dave? Because I feel like I'm a little bit more gray pilled on this point, where I'm like, let's see where this goes. But are you taking the down road? The one time I take a slightly road.
I mean, dude, the Lulberts are correct when they say that tariffs are taxes that people pay. But I am open to this. We do not have a free market, and I'm open to the idea that this could be like just like more like economic warfare and negotiation tactics than like long-term policy. But I don't know, man. I wouldn't be surprised if
is either one wrong though. Like, even if it is war tactics for the, do you think there's any chance that it is for the betterment of America and the savings of America that we are squeezing China's head a little bit to try and get? Actually, I've got another.
What do you want
here.
from China? What do we want from China? Cheap goods? You have that.
Shark Tank, Dave?
I mean, I know of it, but not really.
Okay. Well, I watched it religiously, like a fucking dork, because once I found it, I went back and downloaded all the seasons, watched it. And Kevin O'Leary from Shark Tank has been a Trump supporter when it was not popular, because he is very much a businessman, I think even more than Donald Trump is. And this was his take on the whole China thing. I'm not necessarily saying this is my take, but I think it's worth a throw into this conversation.
But Kevin, he said there's a lot of deals that they're literally kissing his ass, was the phrase he used, very eloquently. Where are the deals?
104% tariffs on China are not enough. I'm advocating 400%. I do business in China. They don't play by the rules. They've been in the WTO for decades. They have never abided by any of the rules they agreed to when they came in for decades. They cheat, they steal IP. I can't litigate in their courts. They take product, technology, they steal it, they manufacture it, and sell it back here. Never has an administration. 400%
tariffs? What would that look like?
I want Xi on an airplane to Washington to level the playing field. It's just not about tariffs anymore. Nobody has taken on China yet, not the Europeans, no administration for decades. As someone who actually does business there, I've had enough. I speak for millions of Americans who have IP that have been stolen by the Chinese. I have nothing against the Chinese people. They brought great literacy.
For everyday Americans who have had IP stolen from the Chinese government, I'm speaking for you.
Yeah.
To the world, the government cheats and steals, and finally, an administration, you may not like Trump, you may not like his style or his rhetoric, finally, an administration that puts up and says enough. 400% tariffs tomorrow morning. He'll tell you why. Xi can only stay the supreme leader if people are employed. If we wipe out any business there, because we are still 39% of all consumables on Earth and 25% of the world's GDP, America is the #1 economy on Earth with all the cards. We will not have that forever. It's time to squeeze Chinese heads into the wall now.
I'm frozen again. Motherfucker. So it's time to squeeze Chinese heads into the wall now is his stance, because, and I kind of understand where he's coming from, and I also understand where you're coming from. Like, the vast majority of Americans are not concerned about IP, but the vast majority of Americans aren't the ones creating the products that they are, manufacturing, selling, whatever their job is. They're not the ones who are, dealing with keeping China from stealing the entire concept and selling it for a cheaper price. So I don't know. What is the libertarian stance? What is your stance, Dave, on all that?
I guess it boils down to this for me, dude. A country that has the Federal Reserve System doesn't get to complain about monetary manipulation from other countries.
Ah, fuck.
You don't get to do that. So this guy obviously is American, has an American business that does business in China. But you know what, dude? Like, maybe that's the nationalist in me, but I don't give a fuck about your business in China. Your business in China might be hurting more people than helping. Maybe it's enriching you, and like business sucks right now, so you're willing to like throw it all on the line so you can, keep the doors open. But I don't give a fuck about your IP personally. And if American companies are so behind, so inept that they'll just, purchase stolen IP that, already exists here somewhere. Like, you just didn't do your research. I don't know. Get it together. And I want cheap Chinese goods. I also want America to make its own shit too, like antibiotics. That's probably a good idea. Medication. We outsource like 95% of that to China. Probably not the best idea for like security purposes and stuff.
Yeah.
But I don't want an economic war. And I don't think that that's good for the people. Capital T, capital P, the people.
To people, yes.
To people.
I don't know. I agree. Like, I would prefer no conflict and all that, but why the fuck is my camera working? But I would prefer that everything be worked out, but there is a part of me, the chaos part of me, that wants to, and also just selfishly, the Shark Tank fan in me is like, yeah, that is wrong. Because I've watched all these people go from nothing to something through Shark Tank, and I know that this guy helps people, and I know that he understands business at a degree and a level that I will absolutely never, for as long as I live, understand. And he is an investor, and he's got a lot riding on everything. That might just mean that he is a fat cat bigwig who is trying to protect his assets. Sure, but that's capitalism. And if you're into the capitalist system, somebody steal, like, there's
wait,
the libertarian debate.
What's capitalism?
Having a problem with somebody stealing your idea and shit.
Capitalism is going on CNN to plead to the federal government to launch a trade war with China and kick it up to 400% so I can watch my business grow. That is not capitalism.
Well,
fuck that guy. I don't know. Maybe he could be right. And I've seen, people that are excited about these tariffs, but I'm
not excited about the tariffs. I don't think they're a good idea necessarily, but there's something about me that wants to see where these things, because if Donald Trump proposed these tariffs because we were getting fucked over, and then 75 countries said, okay, we will capitulate because that seems reasonable, and the only person or the only country that didn't, if Donald Trump's to be taken at his word for the first time ever, if the only country that isn't is China, who's like fighting it and saying this isn't fair, and he's like, it is, and pushes it, I don't know. It might turn out poorly. It probably will. Based on the way things are going. Thanks for bringing me back down to the black pill, Dave. I had a little bit of happiness for a second.
I think the 70 countries there are like, remember when they were like, oh, we had 50 people from the intelligence community sign this thing, and you're like, oh damn, 50 people. That's a lot.
Sure.
But I think that's kind of the purpose with this. Like, all these individual countries would probably just do whatever the United States said at any point in time.
Sure, because they're
holding
no
all
leverage,
the cards.
and China is the only ones that do.
Exactly. So it's all about the trade with China.
All right. Well, let us know what you think. We're going to go fix our cameras and go into the after party now, but let us know what you think. Dan at tsidpod.com is the place to email me directly, or you can hit us up wherever you can find us. At tsidpod on Twitter is mine. At Distant Media is ours on Twitter, and distantmedia.com. This is smoothdown.tv. Dave, where can people find you? We are getting a little bit long-winded with our arguments here. Let's take them over and talk about libertarian dumb shit.
Yeah, you can find me in the motherfucking after party tossing confetti up like it's
Spaghetti.
I got infinite,
Like it's mom's spaghetti.
infinite supplies. That's right. So yeah, we can talk about those jackasses.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Come join us over there. Patreon.com/The System Is Down, and we will keep the party going. Thank you all for being here and hanging out through all of our technical difficulties, but we did stay live this entire time, so good on us. We did great. Let us know. Go share it. Do the things, and we'll see you guys next time. Until then, question everything, stand comfortable, be bad, have fun, and we'll talk to you then. Bye-bye now.
Thanks for watching. Smash all the like and subscribe buttons because that's what we say at the end of videos. Good night, everybody.
This concludes our broadcast day.
This has been a Dissident Media production.